What's going on, Charles Botensten? Welcome to the podcast. And it has been a while. I think it's been 2 weeks. I was actually supposed to come in last week, and if you want me to be 100% honest, I was just too hungover to actually do the podcast. And I actually now put in my calendar to not drink as much on Fridays. That's literally the one day a week that I, throw down a piece of alcohol. Throw down a piece of alcohol. Woo, wow, who says that? But this week I didn't, I would say maybe once a night. Once a week I'll drink, but this week I didn't. And to be honest, I look after my health. I look after where I want to go. I look after waking up early and the circadian rhythm of actually waking up and going to bed at the same time, so your body gets used to it, your cells get used to it. They actually have studies out there. So the circadian rhythm is essentially the time that you go to bed. Your body knows. And it's really based on the actual obviously we have, lights and, blue light and things like that from obviously the lights above and interior on your house or apartment. And then you also have blue light on your laptop, your iPad, or your iPhone that keeps you awake. But back in the day, 1900 something, when Edison came out came out with electricity. Before that, they had lanterns and gasoline lanterns and wood and things like that. But when it went dark, our body knew that we had to sleep. So they also came out with these incredible studies that our skin actually feels and sees light. Like, they have eyeballs. So in other words, when they say to sleep in pitch black, it's because your body knows. Whether your eyes are open, your body knows through the feeling of sun beating down on you to wake up. And it's amazing. Like, our body is just phenomenal, just aspects of life. And if you do not embrace it, if you do not give back to your body will not give back to you. It will come up with, things on your body that may not be attractive, like acne or warts or, birthmarks, or, you'll see someone that has like a lot of stuff going on. It's because they have stuff going on. Say they have stuff on the outside, they have things going on the inside. So I don't know why I just started talking about that, but so today we're going to be talking about something that I have a business podcast as well. I own a real estate company here in New York City. And the reason I started that podcast is because after all these years, there's no one in New York City that's giving ample advice on what to do within New York City, because New York City is extremely different than the rest of the country. And then obviously each country does real estate transactions differently. In New York City, we have apartments and we have something called co-op boards and all this other jazz. So no one was actually putting out information or, knowledge, Ty Lopez, knowledge on a consistent basis on the market, what to do, CRMs, reaching out to clients, negotiating, appointments, open houses, all these things that people take for granted. So within the last podcast, if you want, you could check it out. It's under SoundCloud BPIU. So BPI is the company and U is University BPIU. But the last one, I was saying, you're either in a job or you're in a business. You're either in the business is more entrepreneurial. In other words, you invest your profits into the business. You get better. Your business gets better. And Peter Drucker said, if you're not growing, you're dying. The only reason you're growing or you're dying is through innovation and marketing. That's it. If you're not innovating, you're done. If you're not marketing, you're done. Because if you have a great product and no one knows about it, no one's going to buy it because nobody knows about it. However, if everyone knows about it, but it's a shit product, no one's going to continuously buy it. They may buy it once because you have great marketing, but no one's going to consistently buy it. So that all has to do with today's topic, which is you don't need anything from anyone. Let me repeat that. You don't need anything from anyone. All right. So this is really hard because I know I have a young audience. And I'm 31, turning 32, and the reason that I actually breathed out is because I don't feel like I'm 31, to be honest. Like, I feel like I'm probably about 25 or maybe even younger. I have the energy, and to be honest, like, whether I look 31 or not. I don't really give a shit, to be honest. But the way I feel, which is more important, because the way you feel will actually dictate the outside of your body. Are you getting gray hair? Are you losing your hair? Are you slowing down? Are you lethargic? You know how many people are in their 50s and 60s and they feel like they're in their 40s and 30s? It's how they feel. There's this guy, Marcus something. I forgot his name. He's more of a health guy. Just look up his YouTube. I think it's, I'll do it now. I have my laptop open now. However, there's so many different realms to when I say you don't need anything from anyone. Let's talk about starting a business. Okay. So some people say, I need finance. I'll give you actually a really good, and you probably already have heard of this example, but it's absolutely perfect. And it could be with anything. And I've done this. I need the perfect shoes and the perfect attire before I go running. I need earbuds before I go running. Or say hockey. I need the best hockey stick. I need the best skates. I need the best equipment before I start doing hockey. What in your life are you saying, you know what? I need to clean my room before I start coding or reading or doing something that you need to do. It's the excuse before you do what you really need to do. I said that all the time in my business. So I have to reach out and prospect for business. I have to actually call people and ask them, are you looking to move? Do you know anyone that's looking to move? Are you looking to buy? Are you looking to sell? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I would say, I need the perfect office. Like today, I literally came in. It's a Saturday. It's Saturday at 3:38 p.m. here on Eastern Standard Time. And I have in my office, I had to put up these blocking shades so people wouldn't look in and be like, what is he doing? To be honest, why do I even care? Why do I even care? Why did I even do that? It's because I was making excuses. I need this. I need to clear out my office so I have more room to walk around. I need a standing desk before I actually make sales calls. I need to clear. Listen, I'm not saying that that's good, but notice when you're making the excuse, I need something to do something, okay? All I need is a cell phone, which I already have. I already know who I need to reach out to. I'm just not doing it, okay? So when I say you don't need anything from anyone, you don't need the approval of your parents to start a business or to say no to law school or to say no to college. Listen, I'm so glad that people are raining down on education. Everything in this world is getting disrupted by the internet for the good. You don't need a travel agent to buy a plane ticket. That's what you needed to do back in the day. You needed a record deal to get your music out there. You needed a stockbroker to buy stock. Now you just go on Scottrade or hell, every banking institution has a way to buy stock. Anyone at any time, I think, what do you have to be 18 or 16 or 13? I don't even know if there's any laws behind. I don't give a shit, to be honest. It's one of those things that you don't need permission because everything is on the internet. My first, how many videos do I have? I'm in front of my computer now. I have, as we're speaking, 2,036 subscribers. I have, and it's not I have. Listen, I started, I think, 2 years ago. So that means I'm averaging, that's funny. I think it's even longer. It might be 3 years. I'm averaging less than 1,000 subscribers a year. People get 1,000 subscribers in a day. But the thing is, I'm not looking to monetize this. Like maybe in the future, if I get a big enough audience, I'll say, hey, listen, come hear me talk at blah, blah, blah. And like that's going to happen. I already know. Maybe I'll write a book in 5 or 6 years. And whatever, I don't know. But for me, you already know the reasons, but it's also putting the fear that I had of creating content that's either original or not original, putting my ideas out there and just being okay with criticism and people saying he looks like a caveman, he looks like a schmuck, he has no idea what he's talking about. So in other words, what I needed, quote unquote, what I needed was approval from other people to feel good. So I said, okay, when I get 1,000 subscribers, when I get 500 subscribers, when I get 100 subscribers, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to feel worthy that my content is good enough, okay? Or when I can run a half mile, that means I'm worthy to call myself a runner. or when I get business, or when I get something, I will feel. And that's really what it comes down to. We're not actually trying to achieve the A. We're achieving the A in school because of the feeling it's going to give you, whether it's going to be the feeling of being one of the better students, whether it's the feeling or the approval that your parents will give you, or that the school will give you recognition. That's the only reason. That is the only reason. This is really firing me up. And I really, truly hope, I have no idea how many views this is going to get, whether it's 100 or 200. I just hope whoever listens to this truly takes this to heart. Because in the age of social media and acceptance and how many followers you have, everyone is trying for more. But the problem is we don't know why. And then when we get that, we want more because we're comparing it to someone that has more followers or more likes or more comments or more money or a bigger boat or better grades or a better body or better clothing or a nicer cell phone, whatever the fuck it is. And it's really, this needs to be implanted into your brain, okay? The reason being is that there's more suicide and more lost people. And I don't even care about the age because people blame it on younger people. But the thing is, they grew up with this. And the thing is, they're looking to you, 35-year-old or 40-year-old who has more Botox. The thing is, they don't feel good about themselves. They need the approval of the mirror. In other words, they look at a mirror and they say, you know what? I need bigger lips. I need bigger tits. I need a better body. I need more followers. And then they'll either go out and buy it or they'll show their ass to get more followers. Listen, I don't care if you do that. But if you do it for the reason of acceptance of society or your family or your friends, your social circle, school, the government, social media, whatever the case is, that is where you're not authentic. And I'm not going to go to the politics, but one interesting thing that has happened because of this president in the United States, whether you voted for him or not, but one word is being thrown around more often, and that's politically correct. And listen, I don't know why people voted for him or not. I don't really care because I don't follow it. And to be honest, I don't have an opinion. It's not worth my time. There's nothing that I'm going to do. And there's a book I highly recommend. It's called The Subtle Art of Giving a Fuck. And the reason I'm going to actually make a review right after this is because people give fucks way too often. They give a shit about way too much in life. And the thing is, we don't need everyone to give a fuck about everything. We just need people to really care about certain things, and then they move on with life. So when I say the title of the podcast, which is You Don't Need Anything from Anyone, that could be money to start your business. That could be approval from society or your parents or your friends to do what you want to do. You don't need that. You don't need that. The problem is how do you get to that point? And first of all, let's just, before we do that, it's kind of like putting, like taking drugs for something that is internal. You're not going to the cause. Perfect example. You put Proactive on your skin because you have acne. The problem is we're not looking at why we have acne. Is it because we're stressed out? We have too much oil, because we're eating sugar, because we have milk, because we have cheese, because I don't know what the reason is, but you have to go to the cause. And ironically enough, my skin cleared up. It broke out I had a lot of acne when I was younger. And even until my early and late 20s, even nowadays, I'll get 1 or 2 pimples a month or whatever, which I'm fine with. But the thing is, you have to go to the cause. So in other words, when people say, I have back problems, don't go to the chiropractor to fix your back problems. Go to the cause of why you have back problems. Is it because you have bad posture when you're standing, or you have a heavy backpack, or you lean over to the side because you carry a heavy briefcase, or you carry your bag on one side, or you sit incorrectly, or you sleep incorrectly? Go to the cause. The cause of people needing something on the outside is because they don't feel good enough about themselves. So this is the thing. How do you feel good about yourself? You feel good about yourself when you do what you say you're going to do something. So when you say you're going to go to the gym and you go to the gym, you get confidence, not on how well you perform, but that you did something that you said you were going to do. You made sales calls. The confidence is not in you doing well. Like, yes, you want to do well, but it's the actual act of saying you're going to do something and then you actually do it. Okay? That's the thing, is that most people say, I want more followers. Okay, great. There's two ways to do it. Produce amazing content consistently, or you buy them. Okay? One way is bullshit, and you're going to be called out on it, and you're going to actually lose confidence because your engagement isn't good and you didn't actually earn it. But the people that actually earned that body, like there's this thing like, what is it, fat shaming or thin shaming? I don't know what it is. But like people like, fall in love with your body. Okay, great. Well, when you have diabetes or you're lethargic or you can't even pick up your kids or run around the yard with your kids, I don't think that's healthy, okay? When you die at 70 or 65 because of heart complications or a heart attack, yeah, great. You loved your body for 65 years. Or you're like Charles Botensten, who said, I would rather hate sometimes having a salad over that donut or that muffin and live to 100, another 30 years. What is that? Another 35 years of life. Like, people disrespect their bodies, but they're disrespecting it because they feel they need the outlet. They feel they need to cover up through alcohol or food or social media, and that's why they're not pursuing their dreams. And then they make the excuse, I don't have any time. So how do you get confidence? Going back to it is why you don't need anything. That's the macro. The macro, in other words, you have the micro, and then the macro is that you don't need anything from anyone. You don't need the acceptance. You don't need the approval. You don't need someone to say you're okay. I am giving you that approval, okay? Because I never had that. I never had someone, you should. In fact, I had the opposite. When I left my job in 2009, because I hated it, guess what my brother said? He said, who did you talk to before doing this? In other words, I don't approve of this. And I looked up to my brother, okay? Then I get into real estate. My parents are like, that's kind of stupid because you're not making any money, okay? This is 2009. Then when I went on to a large company, people were saying, you shouldn't go to a large company because you're just going to be a number and no one's going to give a shit about you. Guess what? They were right. And guess what? I did it anyway. Not because I'm this highfalutin guy, but because I didn't even know it at the time. But that's what I wanted to do, and I actually did it. And you know what? I have to credit my ex-girlfriend. I have to credit her. I sat down. It was between two companies. It was a company that I was going to be very comfortable at. And then there was another company that I was going to really have to push myself. And she said, go to the one you have to push myself. And sure enough, I did. And I sucked for 6 months. And my boss said, you're going to be fired if you don't produce a certain amount in the next 6 months. And in fact, you're going to have to share a desk. So I was shamed into sharing a desk. And then I produced. So I got my own desk. And then guess what? I said, you know what? I can do this better. So I told my entire family on Thanksgiving in 2013. And guess what? Everyone said, they laughed. They laughed in my face. People that I respect and love, they laughed at me. And they're like, this is funny. And then they went over to my parents. Do you hear what Charles wants to do? He wants to start his own company. Ha, 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 ha. And then on the way home, they said, hey, guess what? Guess what Charles was talking about? He was saying starting his own company. And guess what? I was serious. I wanted to do it. But I wasn't serious enough to really, truly back myself. And then my sister had a 30-minute conversation that was super, super valuable to me. She said, you know what? Because she was a client of mine for like a month. She was looking to buy in New York City. She was between LA and New York City, and she didn't know where she wanted to buy. She ended up buying in LA, but I took her around in New York City. And she had this conversation, 30 minutes. She said, you weren't that good. You weren't good. When I brought you around, you were not good. You weren't organized. You didn't know your shit. You didn't blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking back, I'm like, not thinking back now, but when I was having the conversation with my sister before I started the company, I really, truly doubted starting my company. I really, really, really doubted it. And then this is the funny thing is, when people doubt you, you can do one of two things. You could take it and accept it, and then you don't do it. Or you could do what I did, which was fuel. And at one time I said, you know what? Fuck her. Not in a mean, nasty way, but in a competitive, like, let's go. Let's win. Let's make this happen. So what did I do through my whole life for 21 years, 22 years of my life? 22 years. There's people that aren't even 22. Imagine going 22 years of acceptance. The internet there was non-existent. Yeah, it was around and we kind of used it, but it wasn't like, it was nowhere near it was today, for anything. No free information and, all this education and all this other jazz. There was no iPhone and everything like that. So I was going my entire life looking for acceptance. My entire life looking for acceptance. Imagine that. Just looking for approval, saying everything's okay, Charles. And you know what I noticed? Finally, after 27 years or 28 years of my life, it's never going to come. It's never going to come. And for 5 years, when I started self-development from age 22 to age 27, guess what? I was reading, going to seminars, reading, watching YouTube videos. And over, they always said, happiness is something that is never attained. You never chase happiness. It's something you feel. You never chase approval. You never chase acceptance. No one's ever going to say what you're doing is okay. And I kept on hearing that for 5 to 6 years. And finally it clicked. And that's when I started my company. And I said, you know what? I'm never going to get that. Starting the company was really the feeling it was going to give me for pursuing what I really wanted to do. Okay? And listen, people are going to say, oh, everyone should listen to this podcast. And I'm going to tell you right now, this podcast, like I just saw a video on YouTube by Evan Carmichael, highly recommend you go on and you check him out. Evan Carmichael, he has a YouTube channel, and what he does is he splices together the best of people. So this one was Oprah Winfrey. And Oprah Winfrey said, people always complimented, oh my God, you're so comfortable on TV and everything else. She said, I didn't start at age 40 or 35 being comfortable. I started at age 13 when I was at Baptist school and I was reading the first reading at church in front of the whole congregation. And then she compounded that every year. So right now, when I am saying there's only 150 people, and listen, I love you guys. It's not on you guys, but I'll get it all the time in comments on YouTube. Oh, you should have more views. You should have more subscribers. I am doing this for that one opportunity that I don't need the acceptance for someone to say, Charles, you should do this 5,000 person talk. I'm doing this now for that 5,000 person talk, knowing I did this 100, and I was as passionate right now to 150 people. I accepted myself. No one told me that I was worthy of producing content. And I am giving you the acceptance and the approval right now that no one else is going to give it to you except me, Charles Botensten, in New York City. Okay? I am giving you that approval to do what you want to do, to post what you want to post, the photos. I was embarrassed to post about books that I read, self-development quotes. I was embarrassed by that. And to be honest, it was worth it. It was 100%. I needed to go through what I needed to go through to get to where I got, where I actually believed I don't need approval. Because if you go there and it's fake, oh, I don't give a shit, but deep down you do give a shit. And I'm not saying to go out and be an asshole, but I'm saying that you need to actually internally give yourself the approval to post, to do, to start, to begin, to call, to text, to approach, to do what you want to do without someone else saying, yes, you can do that. Because when you I was looking for that, and then I never started. So this is a long-winded way of saying you don't need anyone to give you the permission to do what you want to do, number one. And number two is nothing on the exterior. Nothing on the exterior, I should say. Nothing on the exterior. Your feelings, your motivation there's never the right time. There is never the right time, because when you start is when the doubters and the haters start, okay? And you know why they're doubters and haters? Is because they are now questioning themselves because you're doing something they may want to do. Go to the gym, approach a pretty girl, ask that guy out, start your business, produce content, make YouTube videos, start reading, get into an amazing relationship, have incredible sex and brag about it. You know, whatever the case is, I don't care. I do not care. But your confidence comes from doing what you say you're going to do and actually doing it. Because when you don't, you start doubting yourself. You start losing confidence in yourself. That is literally the core of confidence. It's not what happens when you approach that pretty girl. It's that you approached that pretty girl. It's that you said, you know what, I'm going to do this, and then you do it. That's where confidence comes from. This is probably one of the best podcasts that I've had. And I can honestly riff for another hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't want to take up that much of your time. But what I could say in of itself is that do what you need to do because you want to do it, not because it's what society has told you this is acceptable and this is what you should do, and your parents, your family, it runs in our lineage. That's not who you are. We're not a in shape, brilliant person who has an incredible relationship. That's not our family. We're the drinking family. That's what I used to say. I used to say, I'm Irish, I'm a drinker. Bullshit, okay? So have an awesome day. I really do appreciate everyone that listens to this, that subscribes, and that shares it. And I'm going to start giving away books because I'm looking down at all the books that I have, and I have way too many. So have an awesome day. It's on Google Play, iTunes. If you want to leave a comment, if you want to leave a review, that would be unbelievable. And you don't need any approval. You don't need any acceptance. I am giving you that right now. Because if you live a life according to someone else, you will have regrets. I can promise you that. And that is a wasted life. And you do not want to have that. Especially if you're 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Or even if you're 40 or 50, do what you want to do. And I'll just leave you with this last nugget. If you don't believe me, go on and watch Paul Potts on Britain Has Talent. Paul Potts on Britain Has Talent, or the woman, I forgot her name, who went on, everyone doubted them, everyone laughed. They didn't look good, they didn't look like the part, but you know what? They performed. And they were in their 50s or 60s, and they performed. So have an awesome day. Subscribe. I love you all. You have my permission to do whatever you want to do. Leave your comments below and anything you want me to talk about in the future. Talk to you soon.